Hey folks, welcome to video 4. Today I want to talk about staying in the present moment and its stepsister, overthinking. Why do we overthink? Why do we ruminate? Why do we catastrophize? Why are we constantly in our incessant thinking, our monkey minds, as the Buddhists call it, vaulting from tree to tree, looking for other food sources and mates and what have you? Why can't we just stay in a prolonged, extended presence and be blissful like everybody talks about? Well, there's many reasons. I think it's possible, and let me tell you why and how. Let's go. First off, let's talk about this supercomputer. So it weighs 2 pounds, or roughly, but it uses 25% of our resting energy. What does that mean? Well, it means it's an energy suck. And it never rests. We go to sleep, the synapses are still firing, still using those calories. That's why they say you can actually burn calories while you sleep. True, you can. As a matter of fact, they did a chess study with these chess masters in a multi-day chess tournament. I like saying the word chess, apparently. They found out that they burned up to 6,000 calories a day just by playing chess. Thinking machines. Perspective, 6,000 calories is 29 bowls of Cocoa Puffs, 76 hard-boiled eggs, or 20 Mickey D's cheeseburgers. Why did I remember those facts? I don't know. They were fun facts, especially the Cocoa Puffs, because I loved them as a kid. Why am I telling you this? Why am I talking about chess masters and Cocoa Puffs? Just to let you know how powerful this thing is. Why is there flaws in it, though? You may be wondering. I was wondering. Because I've been accused of overthinking a lot in my life. I've overthought a ton. Worrying about the future, worrying about the past. You know, good signs for if you're in the future or the past, or if you're overthinking, if you don't already know. Most people know because they're like, oh shit, why do I keep thinking about this one thing? But good little indicators are if you're thinking what if thoughts. What if this happens? What if this happens? Or I should thoughts. I should be doing this. I should have done that. In the past, I wish I would have. I should. Why did he? The why did he? Why did she thoughts? Why didn't I? I need to, I have to, constantly putting pressure on yourself, living in the past, which is ruminating, thinking bleak thoughts in the past, or catastrophizing, which is worrying about a future incident that may never happen, probably won't ever happen. So those are little indicators for it. But why do we get these flawed machines? One word, evolution. Monkeys. Evolution. Homo sapiens. You see, this is not a history lesson. I'm just learning this myself, but I want to share it with you. I think it's important to know these step-by-step of why we got this thinking mind. We are literally hardwired to worry. It's true. Our brains are hardwired to worry. It's the only thing that kept us from going extinct. We survived because we were out on the savannah dodging lions, remembering where the pack was coming in, remembering why Fred got killed by the zebra stampede, remembering where the water holes were, thinking about the future, how we can take shelter, how we can defend ourselves. So our brains kept us alive. That's why we're alive today. So let's talk about how this all began. What were the steps to getting from these instinctual worries that actually it served a purpose, that it paid to worry back then, to modern day overstressing, overthinking, and out of a present moment. A few theories. One is the invention of fire. When we got fire, we could cook our foods, cook our meats. They release enzymes. Our brains grew from the protein enzymes. We could digest faster. Our small intestines shrink to make up for our energy suck that was our brain, because the intestine is an energy suck also. So it was a trade-off, right? So we became these things that were set out to think because that was more beneficial to us. So fire allowed us to do that. The second idea, the second theory was a gene mutation, like I have. I have a different one that's not so good. A gene mutation. Suddenly we got this cognitive evolution happening. We had the ability to think, to ruminate. Language started. The third theory, which I like the best, is the stoned ape theory. If you watch Joe Rogan or any psychedelic, Terrence McKenna, Dennis McKenna, if you listen to any of the Duncan Trussell, the guys who are really into psychedelics, they talk about the stoned ape theory. Basically, some apes found some mushrooms, got in a psychedelic trance, something clicked, and bam, we got conscious thought. And then from the primates, we inherited this social collective thinking. We had to start worrying about like being exiled from the group, you know, and that meant death. So now we had to think in a social structure sort of way. Like, I don't want to piss off him because he's the head of the camp, whatever it's called. Maybe I should mate with her. Maybe this should happen. I should help him because he stays close to the leader. So we started working these social skills. So that was more thinking, right? So this combination of steps led us to modern day. So how do we get out of this monkey mind and into our present self, into a state of being, into bliss, into happiness? Well, concepts you guys everybody's heard of: mindfulness and meditation, the idea of being the witness, just observing your thoughts and not participating, not judging, just being curious about things. A concept I like is called the beginner's mind. A lot of yogis and meditators talk about this, the beginner's mind. It's witnessing everything as if you're a beginner at it, I think is a concept. If you've seen the movie Interview with the Vampire, there's a moment where Tom Cruise turns Brad Pitt into a vampire. And he for the first time, opens up his senses as a vampire. And he sees the world anew for the first time. And that's what I think of when I think about beginner's mind. It's witnessing, it's not judging something, but it's being open to it, opening up your senses to everything. Some really cool tips and tricks, some breathing techniques. There's a breathing technique that's holotropic meditation. You guys may have heard about. It's basically hyperventilating and it's intense breathing. And that's been known to put people in psychedelic states as powerful as an ayahuasca trip. And if you've ever done ayahuasca, that's saying a lot because, wow. Somebody I love in a surefire way to kind of pummel you out of that overthinking mind, if you want a quick fix, is the Wim Hof technique. It's like 11 minutes. You can jump into it. It's basically deep breathing, but it oxygenates the blood, it alkalines the body, and it kind of catapults you out of your thinking mind. That's a quick fix. I think psychedelics are great for teaching you what it's like to be outside of that thinking mind, to be outside of yourself, to understand that this is a separate entity almost, that this does not control you. You are not your thoughts. You've heard that before. You are not your thoughts. It's true, but many of us don't know I didn't know the concept of that. What do you mean? Who am I? Who are these thoughts? Where are they coming from? And that goes back to evolution. We're hardwired to overthink. These are old programs that are happening in us. And of course, don't trade any of these for traditional therapy. You know, it's not an either or thing. I think they happen together. So if you have past traumas that you need to work out, you need somebody to help you work them out, to tease them out, then please do. That works alongside everything else. So I would say, guys, even if it's 15 minutes a day as a starter, this is a muscle we're building, how to prolong that presence for a longer period of time. So do 15 minutes, start out. It's not hard. You know, get out when you're going on a walk and just be present. And if you think if a thought's coming in and it's not pleasant, or if you're ruminating over the past or catastrophizing about the future, or you're asking those what if questions, or I should be doing this, I should have done that. If you're not in the moment, you know, a good indicator is if you've walked around the block and you can remember like nothing about the walk itself and everything about your thoughts. It's pretty bad. Not judging it as good or bad as the rules state of meditation, but just be mindful of it. That's a better word. Be mindful of it. So, all right, guys, I've ranted enough about this being in the present moment thing, but if you're an overthinker like me and have been for much of your life, this is the only way I've found to contentment, to find any real joy, is being in this present moment. And there's a rule if you're thinking about the past or future, do so in small doses. If you're thinking about the past, do so in a small dose. And only think about it to either celebrate something that happened, learn from something that happened, or, you know, reliving a joyful experience. You know, the same goes with the future. And I'm harping, and this is the same message you guys have probably gotten a million times, easier said than done, but get your walk on, get your meditation on, get your breathing technique on, force yourself to do these things. And then you'll wake up one day and you'll thank me, or you'll thank yourself in the future, because you'll be happy. Truth. All right, guys. So if you like, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, do the share thing. I love thinking of new information, how I can help you guys out, especially for chronic disease. And I really believe that overthinking is one of the most underrated chronic diseases out there. And it adds to all kinds of health problems. But don't overthink it. Peace. We inherited it. Inherited it. We inherited it. Inherited it. Inherited it. I don't know. That's a tough one.